And our second main topic today gets submitted to us by James Argenta, who writes, Cinemacon recently released their schedule for the convention later this month, which includes a screening of Shang Chi on August 25th at 9:30 a.m. I assume the show is canceled that day. With the screening schedule, does this change their views on films getting delayed due to the Delta variant? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, James. Now, for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, there is an annual convention that did not happen last year called Cinemacon. And I'm going to be honest with you, it is my favorite convention to go to every year. I love going to Comic-Con. I love it. But if I had a choice between going to Comic-Con or Cinemacon, I'm probably going to Cinemacon. Now, one of the things Cinemacon, some of you guys know, but what Cinemacon is, it is basically a convention for the movie theater industry. It's not generally open to the public. It is for movie theater owners. It's put on by NATO, the National Association of Theater Owners. And what happens every year is all the studios go and they make these big 1.5 to 3 hour long presentations showing clips and scenes and highlighting all their movies that are coming up the next year. And they also do a lot of secret surprise screenings of films that sometimes aren't coming out for weeks, months, sometimes even 6 months in advance. Well, Disney announced a few weeks ago that they won't be attending Cinemacon this year because of their personal concerns about the Delta variant and sending their own people. But that's not stopping them from having a slated event. And that event is that they are going to be screening a little more than a week before it releases in theaters. They're going to be screening Shang Chi there. Now, getting to the question they brought up was, does them screening this thing at Cinemacon, only like about a week away from when it comes out in theaters, does this pretty much give us a signal that, yeah, they're not going to be delaying the film? They're going to be putting out. Yes, the Delta variant is kind of blowing up, but the reality is more than half of Americans right now are vaccinated, which means you're not going to see the types of peaks that we had before. So they're probably now saying, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it, but it seems to me like what they're saying here is that who knows what'll happen with other films, but they're probably going to keep Shang-Chi on its release date and put it out regardless, which I probably is what it is they're saying. But look, if I had any shakiness about whether or not I was going to Cinemacon this year, that shakiness is gone. Like I am definitely there because listen, I went through the schedule. I went through the schedule of Cinemacon. And not only, of course, do they have here on August 25th, at 9:30 a.m., the Shang-Chi presentation. I mean, then the same day you got Universal doing an 1.5-hour presentation. I think the Warner Brothers presentation is 3 hours long.
Jesus.
3 hours long. I mean, they're all going to be, the Paramount's got like an 1.5 or 2 long presentation. And I remember what happened a couple of years ago, the last Cinemacon that we were actually able to go to. Robert Meyer Burnett came with me, and what he and I did was we did a recap live stream after each of the major studio presentations. And I didn't know if anybody would be interested in that. Those are some of the most highly viewed streams we did that year. Like everybody wanted to know about the studio presentations and what they were running down. And then they always bring their stars with them too. The stars are always there. I mean, that is, of course, was the first place that I heard about Dwayne Johnson doing Black Adam 17 years ago when he came out on stage at the Warner Brothers thing. So I think this is great. I'm very excited about Cinemacon. Obviously, they didn't have one last year. And yes, I do think with the fact that they're playing it here, I think this pretty much tells us they're moving ahead with their plans to release it on schedule regardless. Greg, I don't know, Greg. I don't even know if you've ever been to Cinemacon, but
No.
What do you think about them screening the film there? And does this suggest either way to you anything about their plans to keep it on its release date?
Well, really quick, if I'm not mistaken, Sony Pictures also said that they're going to be there.
They are. They're scheduled, and they're doing like a 2 or 3 hour presentation as well.
And they said they're going to be showing stuff from their upcoming films.
Yes, they are.
So maybe that's when we're finally getting that damn Spider-Man No Way Home trailer.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I guarantee. Like they might even drop it before then, but if we don't have the Spider-Man 3 trailer before then, I think we're going to get it at Cinemacon. I think you're probably right about that.
I feel like it feels like it would make the most sense, and then maybe they could have it again. This has been the same story with Spider-Man No Way Home for the longest time, but it would make sense to me if, like, okay, yeah, you release it at Cinemacon, and then you could also play it at Shang-Chi when that's actually out in theaters. But yeah, to answer the question, yeah, I mean, I never suspected this particular one would actually get delayed. It feels a little too close to the release date, and I can't really speak for people outside of California because I haven't traveled outside of California since the Delta variant started having a bit of the country, or in the world, I should say. But the general vibe that I'm getting, not that I'm not undermining it, what the severity of the Delta variant, I just don't feel like people feel as, I don't know, threatened by it per se, because like you said, half the country's vaccinated at this point. They are playing it at Cinemacon. They're going to screen the movie itself, and I think F9, going back to that movie, that did really well in China on its opening weekend, and I'm not exactly sure how bad the Delta variant is over there in China at the moment, but they got a pretty good handle on things from my understanding. And also, Shang-Chi, Simu Liu, I believe he's Canadian, but he is also Chinese. So I feel like a lot of times Marvel, they really want to capitalize on the Chinese market. And maybe it didn't do so well for them with Mulan. That was a very different story. Perhaps they would want to stick to this release date and have some faith that this would do well in the Chinese box office as well, with having Simu Liu as a star of it. And I really wanted to come out. I'm half Asian myself, as you know, Mr. John Campea. I'm half Asian myself, so I'm really much excited for this. It comes out on Simu Liu's birthday, and that's also my birthday as well. So I really, just on a personal note, do not want this movie to get delayed, because it would feel like just a great birthday celebration overall. And yeah, I don't think I don't suspect it's going to get delayed, and I think this is a really strong indicator that it will not be. But more importantly, that Spider-Man No Way Home trailer should be coming out at that event.
I wouldn't doubt it. Aaron, I don't know if you've ever been to CinemaCon or not, at the event in Vegas.
I have not.
At Caesar's
But
Palace.
It sounds like maybe you need to bring Greg and I as your plus twos this year.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing.
Forget our CinemaCon cherries.
Well, Anne obviously can't go. She's working. But I will tell you, for those of you who may want to go to CinemaCon, you can buy a ticket. You can buy a ticket to CinemaCon. Of course.
Wait, when is it?
It's the last week of August. I think it starts August 24th. I think it's the 24th through the 27th. But here's the catch. The ticket is not $50. The ticket is not $70.
Oh, no.
The ticket is not $150. The ticket is not $300. The ticket is not $500. The ticket
John, you're
is
killing
not
me.
$800. The ticket is not $1,000. The ticket is not $1,200. The ticket is $1,300. If you want a ticket to go to CinemaCon, you got to buy a ticket for $1,300. By the way, our friend Kevin Cow sends in a super chat badge in the live chat. Thank you for that. But I don't know. I mean, hey, listen, I might have to bring somebody with me to do these streams. Maybe we can talk about that, Aaron. Maybe you'll want to come along to Vegas, because, I mean, the good thing is...
Well, here's the deal. I got suckered into getting a timeshare in Vegas about 15 years ago that I've actually never been to. So the three of us could all go. We could stay in my little timeshare in Vegas. I'm the idiot that has it. And Greg and I could just pass that pass back and forth, We'll switch it up.
I mean,
that sounds fun.
I mean, and the journalists who go, I mean, they do give out... I've traditionally gone on the journalist pass. They've given me journalist credentials to go. So I have not, although the one year I did straight up buy the ticket. I straight up bought the ticket one year because I wanted to go to all the things that the journalist pass didn't get you, because there are a lot of industry parties and they book out the big clubs as well. And they have these special breakfast events and they do. And I thought one year, I thought, you know what? I'd like to go to everything. Yeah. And so I wrote it off as a business expense, and I went and did that.
Nice.
I'm tempted to do that again this year. Anyway, Aaron, you're hearing them saying that they're going to be screening this film, thank goodness, at CinemaCon. Does that suggest to you that they are planning on keeping it there? Could it still be up in the air? And where's your anticipation level right now for Shang-Chi?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't really on my radar, but after hearing Greg's enthusiasm for it, it's kind of hard not to be like, yeah, let's go. I mean, if nothing else, then it's a great way to celebrate my new friend's birthday. So that right there is reason enough to go. And, I appreciate what you guys are saying as far as it being delayed. I don't see this being delayed for for this reason. I was talking to some friends. Tom is in New York right now, and we've been talking a lot about what's going on with the Delta variant in New York, and New York State either just passed or is about to pass an ordinance where it's either New York State or New York City. I'm not exactly sure where.
New York City.
New York City. Thank you. Where anyone who wants to eat indoors at a restaurant or wants to go and sit in a movie theater has to show proof of vaccination. I think that there is really just going to, in the near future, especially in bigger cities, especially cities that do have higher vaccination rates that are still, but yet are struggling because there's always, because there are holdouts. I think that we're going to see a lot more of that, those vaccination passes where people go, hey, man, we're ready to just move the hell on with our lives. We're ready to be able to go and sit in movie theaters and get back to some sense of whatever the new normal is going to be. And if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's, your business. But unfortunately, your business does affect everybody around you. And so I really feel like we're going to enter this segmented society where there's just places that people can go when they're vaccinated and places that people can't go. And movie theaters, I would not be surprised if other cities followed in New York City's lead, especially some of the cities that have larger outbreaks. I do not imagine that this film is going to get pushed. I would be surprised if any films continue to get pushed, especially after what's going on with Scarlett Johansson and Disney. So, and given the vaccination rates where they are. But yeah, I thank you so much for your enthusiasm, Greg. I'm going to go see this on your birthday in honor of you. And I'm not kidding about that timeshare in Vegas. I really think the three of us, we need a Vegas road trip. I'm ready. I'm ready.
True story.
It'll be my baby moon.
I'll tell you guys a true story. I think, Aaron, you know about this, but a number of years ago, now I go to Vegas during non-COVID times. I go to Vegas about 6 times a year. And the reason I go to Vegas about 6 times a year is because I used to go to Vegas like twice a year and I really love it. And then this is still back in the AMC days. I had somebody write to me and say, John, I'm a VIP rep for Caesars Entertainment. The next time you're coming out to Vegas, hit me up and I might be able to set you up with some stuff. And I'm like, cool. Ever since then, whenever I go to Vegas, Caesars has just, what's the word I'm looking for? Comped? Yeah. Caesars has just comped us our rooms every time we go. They've even given us, like, remember the Rain Man suite in Rain Man? They actually they've given us the Rain Man suite a few times. Wow. And it's always great. So that's why I can go to Vegas so much, is because I don't have to pay for the rooms. But seriously, look, they've never asked me to do this, but they never asked me to plug them. But seriously, guys, if you go to Vegas, stay at a Caesars property. Caesar properties, whether it's Caesars Palace, Planet Hollywood, I mean, they've got about 7 of the hotels on the Strip are Caesars properties. They are fantastic. And really, you got to stay at Caesars Palace too. Like, if you can, you stay at Caesars Palace. But anyway, and that,
are you saying that you're not going to, are you saying that you'd rather stay at Caesars Palace in the Rain Man suite than stay at my
your timeshare
with 3-year-olds pooping in the pool?
Yeah. So is this the real Caesars Palace? Yeah, I would say stay. By the way, Cinemacon takes place every year in Caesars Palace. So that's so it's always handy that's where it happens there too. All right. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Maybe you live around Las Vegas and you're tempted to get that $1,300 ticket just to go see a week early showing of Shang Chi. Whatever you guys think, jump on down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.